couple of more in-depth topics here this week. We got a serial killer special. Serial killers hot in the streets. Halloween coming up. Jeffrey Dahmer's the Netflix series is taking over. I think I'm halfway through it right now. Pretty good. And my takeaways from the Netflix show. Number one, Evan Peters really loves acting as a serial killer, from American Horror Story to Criminal Minds, and the list goes on and on. So I don't know, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe we should look a little bit into his work and life outside of acting.
He's a new Ezra Miller.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not making any accusations. Maybe just something we should look into. Number two, Richard Jenkins. Same thought process of Evan Peters, but Richard Jenkins just loves to play horrible father figures. He was the dad in Step Brothers. Now he's the neglectful dad in the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix series. So I don't know. Maybe
I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Well, maybe check with his kids and see how they're doing. Maybe they need a little therapy. I don't know. Again, just another where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah. I mean, I will say with the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, I think I only got maybe a third of the way through. I don't think I got all the way halfway through. It's just uncomfy. I don't want to.
It is.
I don't know. It's weird. It's like, it's a lot of weird, like, gay sex scenes and a lot of weird him being, like, abused scenes. And it's like, man, I don't necessarily need, like, I knew that stuff about Jeffrey Dahmer, so it's like, I don't necessarily need to, like, relive it per se. And I can't imagine what that's like for the people whose families are actually affected. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's got to be terrible. That's one of the big criticisms that the show's been getting. Like, why do we need to bring this stuff up? But it's what the people want, apparently. What I know a lot of white women in their 20s and 30s want. They love their crime podcasts.
The true crime, the true crime is going
nuts. True crime
nuts.
is huge. The other thing I saw that was interesting on that whole series is that Netflix was under fire because they had it labeled as an LGBTQ show. So they dropped that from the title on Netflix.
Yeah.
Not a great look.
Just because gay stuff happens doesn't mean that it's like
it's not LGBTQ positive show. If anything, it's the opposite. He's killing gay people.
Yeah. Gay black people specifically, knowing that the cops will care less, or gay, like, people of color in general.
Exactly.
Rough.
Exactly.
Not laughing.
But yeah,
I'm not laughing.
it's been a good, like, it's a good show production wise, but it's definitely, like, I've had on several occasions where I've started watching it and I've been eating and I have been like, I can't watch this. I need to turn something else on and finish dinner, and then maybe I can go back to it. But
gross.
Rough one.
Yeah,
but
I feel that. Yeah.
This brings me to the other portion of our serial killer special here, the Stockton serial killer. Have you seen anything about this on Twitter, online, anywhere? No,
not at all.
All right, well, I'm gonna break some news for you.
Shit.
Currently, there is a potential serial killer in Stockton, California. So far, to this point, he has had 7 shootings tied to him. They have a person of interest, and they have 7 shootings tied to that person, 6 of which have been fatal. The shootings, they are linked back as far as April of last year, and police are warning that there could be additional victims outside of the current known victims. They've connected these shootings using ballistics evidence and then checking that against a statewide database to connect the various crimes, as well as linking surveillance footage from some of the crime scenes. I did see the surveillance video. There's nothing in these surveillance videos that you could possibly use to connect, like, the person to somebody. You link that around your headphone cord.
Yeah, I just realized that. I was like, fuck. Yeah, continue.
So, I mean, the videos are, like, grainy. Not really anything you can do there. And the one survivor of the shooting described him as 5'10" to 6 feet tall with a slim build, wearing a dark colored sweatshirt with the hood pulled over his head, dark pants, and a black face mask. So literally anybody. So that's very comforting.
He left a survivor. What a whack serial killer.
And currently, the police have noted that there are no workable leads that they are pursuing. They said that there's a lot of information, an influx of information and tips, so to say, that are coming their way. But at the moment, they don't have any workable leads. So
Damn.
Are we in 45 years going to see our kids watching a Netflix special about the Stockton serial killer? And we're going to be giving our own first account?
Maybe. I think it depends on a couple things. One, what the actual story is, because I will say this, serial killers that go by shooting tend to not get a lot of coverage unless it's like a Son of Sam kind of thing, where there's like an occultist or like random thing to do with it. Because shooting is like kind of whatever, honestly. As it comes to like a serial killer, it's a lot less of a intimate killing, you know what I mean? So it doesn't make for as good of a story per se. So I would say that probably not. I'm also curious, what is the victim, what are they like? Are they like white women that he's shooting? Is it men? Is it...
No, so the one survivor is the lone female, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but what I was reading and the article that I was researching was an NPR article. So it's a legit article. It's not some serial killer blog, right? Most of the victims were men within 30 to 40s, and that appears to be his target group. The one thing, putting on my Criminal Minds cap for a minute, right? Looking at the dates from April to now, the amount of time in between the killings is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So
he's escalating.
He's escalating, as Hodge would say.
Yes. I love that show.
We're gonna be out here making our profiles, the UKNO profiles, pretty soon. But it's something. Okay. I mean, Dahmer's in the news. Dahmer's going crazy, and I saw this, so figured we'd brush up on our serial killer knowledge and our private investigation skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I definitely think that stories that involve like really clear victimology get better traction as it comes to a story, like a later on fictional recount. Definitely also think that more intimate killing, so if it's like a strangler or a stabber or whatever, you know what I mean, that usually gets more play than someone that's shooting. But I will say there's been a suggested serial killer in Chicago for the last, 10 years now, where they've been, I believe it's strangling black women and leaving them in trash cans. And they believe it's the same person, but they refuse to take it national with the actual serial killer tag. And the thought is that it's because it's black women that are the victims, that they are not giving it the voice it deserves. So that sucks. Bro. And yeah.
You said this has been going on for how long? This is the first time I've heard this. Holy shit.
10 years. Yeah. And I mean, maybe I'll do some research on that for next week, but it's definitely, it's been a thing that there have been black women showing up in trash cans for years. And it's not been labeled as a serial killer. And even if we're bringing it back to Criminal Minds, fucking my boy Shamar Moore talking about there's however many active serial killers at any point in the United States, you know what I mean? And the number is greater than 10 at any point. So it's tough, you know what I mean? It's cool. You don't want to give them names or whatever. You don't want to embolden them like that. But at the same time, some guy walking around shooting people in Stockton is not good. But there are a lot of people that we need to deal with. You know what I mean? I'll say that.
That's true. And I think you bring up a good point. A lot of the shit that I was seeing on Twitter, because I first saw it on Twitter, was saying, this has been going on for how long? And, there's a serial killer in Stockton. I'm just hearing about it. So, I mean, definitely some legitimacy there.
And they definitely are, they try to hold off on giving it the serial killer denomination for as long as possible, you know what I mean? Once all those ballistic matches come back, there's you can't say anything else besides this is the same person, you know what I mean? And that's probably why it's blowing up now, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Big facts. I'm gonna have to check out that Chicago one. That's both very interesting and intriguing, and very scary and sad and disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.